Good afternoon, distinguished guests, graduates, family and friends. Welcome to Bond University's graduation. Please take time to note the nearest fire exit to you. They are located in each corner of the theatre. In the unlikely event of an emergency, please follow the directions of university staff. As today is a very special occasion for each of the graduates, please turn your devices to silent and remain seated for the duration of the ceremony. A live stream of this ceremony is also available from the Bond University graduation website and YouTube channel. Graduates, I will now take you through the protocols for the presentation of awards. When directed by staff, please proceed in your order of seating and line up along the stairs to my right. When your name is announced, walk across the stage and collect your testamen from the middle table, and then proceed to the far side of the stage to have your photo taken with the Chancellor. Once the photo has been taken, proceed up the middle aisle to my left and around the rear of the theatre, and you'll be directed back to your seat. The formal proceedings will commence shortly, but first, enjoy a short presentation celebrating 30 years of Bond University.
Today, as of this moment, vision has become reality. The way is now ahead. From sandstone and a strong, unwavering vision, an institution was built to offer a student experience without peer. A university created to redefine the landscape, setting new heights for global education. In our first 30 years, almost 30,000 alumni have passed through our doors.
With all our graduates, please stand. Be successful, have great careers, and never forget Bond University.
With an unbreakable bond to the international networks and experiences that position them for success. Together, we have built a legacy. A legacy that continues to evolve today.
Bond University will take its place among the great universities.
As we strive for and reach new horizons in personalized learning, we continue to deliver a truly remarkable global student experience.
To my fellow graduates, thank you for your friendship. Please cherish the memories and friends, but continue making new ones. Goodbye and good luck.
Since 1989, Bond University has forged the way in law, business, society and design, health sciences and medicine, and sport. Led by great minds.
Bond University will become a magnificent jewel in the crown of Australian tertiary education.
With an even greater vision for the next 30 years and beyond. It's because of those who came before us that our future is limitless.
Would everyone please stand for the Academic Procession?
please sit down. Chancellor, graduates, family and friends of the graduates, university colleagues, welcome to this graduation celebration for students who have recently completed their studies at Bond. Please join with me in thanking our Piper, Bond alumnus, Pipe Major Nick Tompkins. On behalf of the university community, and on behalf of each of us, I acknowledge the people of the Yugambeh language group on whose ancestral lands the university stands. I pay my respects to their leaders, past, present and emerging, and I do so in a spirit of reconciliation. Here at the university, we acknowledge that graduation is a liminal event in the life of a student, and as a result, we are delighted that we are able to offer each graduate that is able to attend and their family and friends the opportunity to participate in this ceremony that publicly marks the significant milestone of graduation. Notwithstanding that COVID rules change almost daily, at the university we are pleased to see that so many of you are able to be present this afternoon. Each graduate here today will be presented to the Chancellor and have their photograph taken with her. Ladies and gentlemen, this room in which we are gathered is the university's largest lecture theatre. It was named the Basil Sellers Theatre in honour and recognition of Basil Sellers, AM, a major philanthropist who has had a successful business career as well as being an accomplished sportsman. Dr. Sellers is a significant benefactor of many organisations, both in Australia and abroad. It is now my pleasant duty to introduce the university's 8th Chancellor who will preside at this ceremony, the Honourable Dr. Annabel Bennett, ACFC, FAA. Congratulations.
Up on my little perch so I can see you all. Welcome everybody, and in particular graduates first. I mean, you are the reason we're all here, and it's right and proper that you be acknowledged. Bond colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. I should say I always hate that concept of distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, because I always think everyone is distinguished, and when they say it in my presence, I know where I belong. It's not in the front part. First, I just want to say one thing. There are some children here today. I think I saw at least one up the back. If they run around, make a noise, please do not take them out. They're as welcome here as everybody else, and we would not want to see them go. This is also a very good marketing exercise for Bond. We want to make sure that they come to Bond in their own time, and we want to make them welcome now. But for all of you, welcome to the graduation ceremony. I mean, it's quite extraordinary that Bond is holding this. We were just talking outside, actually, about the fact, you know, Bond, this is our third round of graduation since COVID started. We were the only university, I think, last year to do any in-person graduations, and there's such an important part of university life, that wonderful feeling of finishing. And it's really something special about Bond, and it has taken the iron determination of our Vice-Chancellor to bring this about, because I know other students from other universities who've graduated, and it's not the same when you receive it through the mail. It really isn't, and it obviously isn't, otherwise you wouldn't all be here. So we're glad you're here, and we really welcome you, because it's been a hard year. You know, it's been a hard time for everybody, I think, with COVID and all the restrictions and restraints and the uncertainties. And you'll probably hear more from the Executive Dean later, but we were talking about the fact that Bond has dealt with it. I think, I mean, you know, it's easy with hindsight to see what could have been done, but Bond dealt with it extremely well, I think, you know, compared to other universities and parts of society generally. But it's not just the work, although it was an extraordinary amount of work from the faculty who had to quickly adapt to new methods of teaching that changed again and again, and that, you know, local, overseas, some in person, some online. But it was also because the students committed to it. I mean, it was uncertainty, it was different, it wasn't what a lot of people expected. You still had exams and assignments to deal with, and you threw yourselves wholeheartedly into the experience and helped do it together to achieve an outcome. And I think you're to be congratulated for that, and I certainly congratulate you. So graduations, as I said, are really special. They're special for the graduates themselves, of course, their partners and those who've had to endure supporting them emotionally and, of course, financially. Family and friends. So I'm really glad that you're able to join with us here today. And we do understand that for all of our students and their families, coming to Bond is a commitment. Some have scholarship assistance and a lot don't. So we appreciate that, and we really do value what you've done, and we value the young people that you've and not so young people who've been entrusted to our care. So this university has an extraordinary attitude towards its students. When I first met the Vice-Chancellor, in what I always thought of as a bit of an interview for me, him interviewing me, not me interviewing him, about coming to Bond, and I said to him, well, you know, what are the strategic imperatives of Bond? You know, what is it that, you know, Bond stands for? And he said, well, we have three major things in it, major policies at Bond. The first is the students, the second is the students, and the third, the students. So that was my introduction to Bond, and, you know, you can see it, because everywhere I go, as soon as I say I'm from Bond, and I wasn't fortunate enough to study here, but as soon as I say that I'm involved with Bond, I can tell anybody who's been involved in Bond because they smile. In any room I'm in, there's just a big smile. And you know what they say? Once a Bondie, always a Bondie. And we're very fortunate even on council, and our council, I don't know if you realise it, but the University Council does not, you know, they get an enormous salary for being on the Council of Bond University. and despite that, a number of our councillors are alumni who are in the middle of their, you know, professional lives, and yet they give up their time and their energy and their thoughts and their strategic insights to give back to this university because it means so much to them. So that's a pretty telling outcome for it. But anyway, enough about us and everything. It's really about this group of people here. So we really welcome you. We really think it's really important that you're here. We loved having you. But, you know, it's interesting. You are not alone. At the conclusion of this ceremony, Bond will have had over 30,000 alumni, which isn't bad when you think about that, because after over 32 years, there are more than 30,000 Bondies based all over the planet. So there's always a Bondie somewhere doing something really good, supporting someone and giving back and achieving. So this is now your opportunity to join the Bond alumni network and perhaps help someone else out and do lots of good yourselves. So let me just share some data with you. Our graduates range in age from 19 to 80. There are 15 Indigenous graduates as part of the graduating cohort this time. The top 5 countries of birth for graduates are Australia, China, Canada, Japan and India. There are 22 graduands graduating with a unique country of origin. The most popular programs for this cohort are a graduate diploma in legal practice, Bachelor of Laws, Bachelor of Biomedical Science, Juris Doctor and Master of Construction Practice Professional. So if you think that these numbers are small, recall that one of our most cherished differentiating factors is our small class size and our relatively small student cohorts, especially when you compare that to the behemoth of other public universities. So following the ceremony today, please visit the Alumni Centre on your way to Don's Tavern to receive a graduation gift from the merchandise store, and please do grab a photo in the Alumni Centre because we're quite proud of it and we expect to see you back there as often as possible. So you should be immensely proud of your achievements, but you should also recognise that those achievements would not have been possible without support. And as I said before, a Bond degree requires investment, and because we're a self-funded, non-profit institution. So again, I thank the family, supporters and benefactors who've provided financial assistance to enable the graduates of Bond to study here. So today is a day to celebrate, and so it gives you also an opportunity to thank those who've looked after you and supported you. Now, as the Vice-Chancellor is fond of pointing out, there is a device that most of you would have, in fact I'm sure all of you have. It does all sorts of things. It can do social media, it can message, it can do Instagram, it can do all of that, but it has, and you can get used to working with it that way, emails and messaging. It's very easy, quick and efficient. But on this special occasion, there are some people that you would not want to talk to and need to talk to who would actually prefer that you use another function on that phone, on that device. It's called a phone function. And if you use that, you can ring someone and you can say thank you in person. in effect, even though you can't see them face to face, because many of you will have members of families that are not able to be here today. So please do that, because speaking as a parent and, dare I say it, I know you're going to find this hard to understand, a grandparent, it is actually really, really important sometimes to have that real contact. So please do that. So to those of you who are sitting here watching your loved ones graduate, I know exactly how you feel, because while I wasn't at Bond myself, as a student, my husband and I were fortunate to have one of our daughters graduate from here, and it had an enormous impact on her life. She's a great success, and she loved every minute of her time at Bonds. But of course, we all, you know, I don't know if any of you have this, but I was always terrified that at that last minute, when she was about to go up and get her degree, somebody would say, just a minute, not that one. She didn't make it, right? So there is a moment of graduation, which we'll come to in a moment, so hold your breath, it will come, and once we do that, they can't take it away. So that's the moment of graduation. So as Chancellor of this amazing university, I have many tasks to perform, but nothing is as important to me as a graduation ceremony, because it's a wonderful moment in the sun. And when I was a little girl, we used to put buttercups under our chin and they'd light up. And I always feel that it's the graduation ceremony, it's a bit like that each graduate who comes across the stage is like they've got something lit up underneath them. And the joy of that moment of knowing that they've achieved a really fantastic achievement. I mean, it really is. Because these courses, I mean, they tell me, these courses are not walkovers. They put in a lot of hard work to do this, and that moment is very, very special. So, although each graduate's been formally conferred with their degrees in absentia because of all the COVID delays and things like that, we thought, I mean, we could have done two things. We could have said, no, we have to wait until we can do a graduation in person, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever. Or we can grant them in absentia, and then you've got that for going for your job. But still, you know, there's still a really important moment now. So I'm going now, for the purposes of the ceremony, formally to admit each graduate in persona. And I'm going to read it because I'm reminded that Chief Justice Roberts of the United States, when he swore in President Obama, thought he could do it without reading, simple sentence, and so he did it from memory, and he got it wrong. And there was a constitutional crisis in the United States because they didn't know if the president had formally been sworn in and whether he was really the president, so they had to go and do it again up the back. And I watched when at the ceremony for President Biden, and I noticed Chief Justice Roberts read it word for word. So, graduates, would you please stand? With the authority of counsel, I hereby admit you to the awards for which you have qualified. I also admit those who have qualified for their degrees but who are unable to be present today. Ladies and gentlemen, and to those who are watching via streaming, those graduates who could not be here today, ladies and gentlemen, that is the moment of graduation. Now it's theirs for sure. Please join me in congratulating the most recent graduates of Bond University. Now, I'm going to get one word in now before I move across. Over there, I'm going to go and stand on a cross, the cross on the ground, and you're going to come up. I haven't had the benefit of being in Queensland for the last little while. I've come up from Sydney. We're still paranoid. See that cross at the other side? That's where you stand, right? Don't move closer. I'll see you in a moment.
Before I formally present the graduates, I'd like to remind you of the procedure that we will follow, and as the Chancellor said, compliant with COVID-safe protocols. So graduates, as you do come across and you search for that black cross on the floor that you're going to place your feet on, you may want to shake the hand of the Chancellor. Please don't. Okay. And the audience members, please remain in your seats for the entire ceremony. Thank you. Chancellor, I present graduates from the Faculty of Society and Design. Jake Dove. Bikauze Chizomo Banzi. Elizabeth Rachel Barker. Imogen Rose Barry Murphy. Amadeus James Bellinger. And the recipient of the 2020 Sohail Abedian Medal of Excellence, Gemma Rose Borra. Tess Adelaide Charter. Nicholas Alexander Clark Burton. Maxwell Dowd. Ryan Donald McKillop. Nelson Anthony Michaels. Blake Andrew Mills. Ellen Bedford Minogue. Luke Pierce. Alexander James Pollard. Donna Lee Simon. Kayla Soler. Brianna Lucy Alexander. Stacey Ann Flanagan. Michaela Ray Frank. Wilhelm Cruz Kieland. Ethan Leighton Coos. Samantha Joy Morant. Lachlan William Thompson. Julia Wicker. Luke Tim Allen. Tamara Borrow. Wanshan Vanessa Guan. Rhys Samuel King. Isaac Anthony Latorres. Paope Nong. Acacia Sky Philp. Matthew Thomas Somers. Yu Fei Wu. Diane Zhe Zhu. See you. Wenshan Ju. Male Brianan Albert. Eliza Jane Chambers. Oscar Michael Doherty. Leighton Thomas Hales. Daniel John Harkin. Cassie Lara Summers Ryan. Daria Shevaleva. Reese Philip Terry. Heidi Elizabeth Vebral. George Oscar Shadow Wellesby. Abby Rose Williams. Jared Kevin John Yates. Jumeirah Scarlett Whittle. Jake Joseph Coates. Liam Collins. Jessica Doby. Maximilian Murray. Jackson Peter Smith. Lewis Henry Smith. Mitchell Glenn White. Erin Clayton. Rebecca Lynn Danger. Victoria Dorgam de Castillo Domingos. Chloe Joyce Hartnett. Zarly Ann Jones. Charlie Kuhneman. Jade Alkira Nubegin. Gabriella Prudence Abraham. Madison Armstrong. Esther Bowles-Fran. Zoe Stephanie Lewis. Caitlin Taylor Grimmett. Yagu Kang. Claire Margaret McMath. Caitlin Elise Wright. Yumna Ahmed Saad Hassan. Clara Alice Wilson. Chancellor, our valedictorian has been selected to give the valedictory address on behalf of the graduating cohort this afternoon. She has achieved a cumulative percentage average of 88% and a cumulative GPA of 3.92 out of a possible 4. She has achieved first in class in 14 of her subjects. She was placed on the Dean's list for academic excellence in her first semester and on the Vice-Chancellor's list for academic excellence in every following semester. Recipient of the 2020 John Hardy Achievement Medal and graduating with a degree of Bachelor of Communication, Kimberly Ellen Bernard.
Hello. To break the ice a little bit, it was for me, not for you guys. I am honoured to be on the ancestral lands of the Yugambeh people. I acknowledge the first Australians as the traditional custodians of the continent, whose cultures are among the oldest living in human history. I pay respects to the elders past, present and emerging. A better understanding and respect for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures develops an enriched appreciation of Australia's cultural heritage and can lead to reconciliation. This is essential to the maturity of Australia as a nation and fundamental to the development of the Australian identity. Bondies, hello. Let me start by saying congratulations. I am very proud to be sharing this moment with you, a moment that some of us, I'm sure, thought might never come. And plus ones and guests, I'd like to extend a big congratulations to you too. If you have been through anything like my plus one has been through, you deserve a very special mention, maybe even an award of your own at this point. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Kimberly. I am a journalist and, as of a few moments ago, a communications graduate. I landed my dream job at the end of last semester, straight out of university, which I truly thought would never happen to me. Those kinds of things happen to extraordinary people, not ordinary people, which got me thinking, which one am I, and which one do I want to be? Last year, I'm sure we can all agree, was interesting. I thought of it like I was trying to ride a bike wearing a blindfold. I know I'm going in a direction, but where am I going, and how, and when will I get there? And why am I riding a bicycle with blindfold? I had so many questions and oftentimes very few answers. 2020 was challenging for most people in some aspect or another. Thrown on top of that, the pressure of study, deadlines, work and assignments. But for many of us, those pressures weren't simply pressures, they were privileges. We were so privileged in that we had the means and the capacity to study. We are so privileged that we live in a country that has managed a global pandemic in such a way that it has, despite the extraordinary hardships I recognise many, many people have faced and continue to face. We are so fortunate that we're able to be here today, being recognised for our hard work among friends, colleagues and family. When I landed the job, this dream job that I'm speaking about, the one in which I thought only extraordinary people got, I felt something very strange. I felt like I didn't belong, like I was an intruder, like I was an imposter. And at some moment, someone was going to bust into the newsroom and drag me out in the middle of my segment. It went over and over in my head. It was a nightmare. Imposter syndrome was something I learned about in uni, about how sometimes we don't feel good enough in our professions. Like we're faking it until we start making it, but we actually believe we're not going to make it. Recognising those feelings of fear as I stepped out onto this unknown path after university was like an illumination. It was like I was carrying a lamp and I could see through all of the shadows. Recognising that, hey, this feeling of fear is like pretty normal, it helped me rationalise. It's something I learnt at university, a real life experience, not just out of a textbook. But there is a responsibility in my being able to recognise my fear on this new path of life, and it would be remiss of me not to pass on something I have learned to other people about to embark on the same well-trodden path. So I thought, instead of listing 5 things I wish I told my graduating self, like old people do, like retrospectively, I decided that I was going to use this time to list 5 things I will tell my graduating self and other graduates around me. Number 1, be bold. Throw your shoulders back, literally and figuratively. Throw those figurative shoulders back and make big calls. Speak your big ideas and trust your gut. Be bold in your innovations. Be bold in your convictions. Be bold in your actions to make this world a kinder and better place. Number 2, be brave. I received the new Colombo Plan Scholarship in 2019 in my second semester. I was able to go to the Solomon Islands as a student journalist to document and report on climate-related crises faced by a small island in the south. I have done a lot of travelling in my life, but I've always been afraid of flying, which is clearly not ideal when one has to load oneself into a 10-seater seaplane with no seatbelts and like the toggles in the cockpit were like duct taped on. But I did it, and I discovered there was a whole new world on the warming reefs of the Pacific. Be brave. Be ready to endure hurdles and fears and difficulties with confidence and patience. Be brave to chase your dreams and break the mould. Be brave to be you. Number 3, use your powers for good. This planet is at a tipping point, and soon there will come a time in which we inherit what has been left for us. Now is the time to use your voice, to use your knowledge, and to use your power to help create a better world worth inheriting. There is no voice too meek or too small. Use all of that incredible knowledge that you have and those invaluable life lessons you've learned to create something meaningful, a place in which we can all live and a place that feels like home for everyone. Number 4, back yourself. It doesn't matter how many people believe in you, it just takes one person to get you over the line. Back yourself. And lastly, number 5. In the words of the late Douglas Adams, don't panic. It doesn't matter, oh sorry, I've already said that. I'm going to start panicking. Okay. Live your best life, you do you, you've got this, slay. I'm hoping those words mean something to you guys. Just get out there and live. Don't panic. Panicking's a waste of time. And at the end of all this, there's just one thing left for me to do. It's to give my deepest and most heartfelt thanks to those around me. To the educators who didn't bat an eye when I myself was indeed panicking, thank you. The jobs you do change lives. There are too many of you to name, but a very special thanks to Rob Layton, Dr. Caro Graham and Michelle Clark. with all of whom I have shared most of my classes. Your wisdom and unwavering generosity in sharing said wisdom has not been lost on me. To my loved ones and the loved ones of those graduating today, thank you. The influence and roles you've played have helped shape us into the diverse and distinctive individuals we are. The world thrives on this diversity. To the wider staff at Bond University, thank you. Whatever role you've played in this university has enhanced the experience none of us will ever forget. From behind the scenes in tech or cleaning or finance, to those in executive positions, and of course the Vice-Chancellor, thank you. You handled the wild ride of 2020 with us in mind, and your dedication to this institution reflects greatly on the name of Bond University. And lastly, to me and to us. When I asked earlier if I was an extraordinary or an ordinary person, and which I wanted to be, I'm both. We are all extraordinary, but we're all humbly ordinary at the same time. It's the extraordinary, ordinary people who are the ground shakers and the mountain movers this world is about to inherit when we walk out those doors. Thank you.
So thank you, Kimberly. Bold, brave, for the good, back yourself and don't panic. And you didn't. Well done. An amazing and erudite speech. Shall we say an excellent example of communication from someone who's today a graduate of Bachelor of Communications. As always, you did yourself proud, your discipline, our faculty and our institution proud. Thank you. Well, graduates, you've done it. Congratulations. Graduating from a university programme is hard. Graduating from a university that adopts an accelerated approach to learning with little downtime is even more difficult and even more of an achievement. Graduating in the midst of a global pandemic and coping with the disruption of life inside academia now is incredibly impressive, and you should be proud. We, the faculty of Bond University, your parents and friends and supporters certainly are of you. So again, well done. As some of you may know, I'm a professor of psychology, and as such, I have a great interest in how human beings form memories. An aspect of memory that humans often struggle with is anchoring a memory trace of a particular event to a particular time at a particular place. An exception to this rule is when we experience or live through an extraordinary experience now, something remarkable, now shall we say something like a global pandemic. I predict that in decades to come, just after the start of a new year, around about the start of February, you may find yourself sitting reading of the COVID-19 pandemic. And when you do, many things may come to mind. But everyone graduating here today shall share a tangible connection, a real shared memory. The connection is that when you're reminded of the pandemic, this day, this event, this celebration with friends and family, this graduation will come to mind. I hope it will evoke many, many happy memories for years to come. The significance of a connection and shared experience is perhaps even more evident and more important than ever before. You were all students and now an alumni of the Faculty Society Design or the Bond University College. As you know, our faculty is an eclectic mix of disciplines. We cover the humanities, the social sciences, communications, right through to the built environment and architecture. What all these disciplines have in common, what brings them together, is people, us. How we think and act, how we organise ourselves in groups, how we fit into society, how we live, the way we live, the buildings and cities we live in, and how we all coexist. In truth, our faculty speaks to how each of our lives are intrinsically connected and linked. Indeed, it could be argued that it's this very connectedness that has led to COVID-19 becoming a true pandemic, how it's spread across the world. Everyone in this theatre will appreciate the truly global nature of the crisis that the world is facing. The extent of the pandemic's reach is a true reminder that no matter how unique we think we are as individuals, how separated we think we may be due to the roles we hold, how some might have us believe that we are different from other groups and other nationalities, there's no doubt we are connected, and this connection matters. We know it does. I mean, across the world, when governments responded to the spread of the virus, what most did was to try to isolate it. Physical distancing was introduced. I mean, we saw it today. We were trying to keep apart to the extent that we could. So what did we do? What did we do during these lockdowns? Well, we found ways to reach out to one another, to connect. Large parts of the developed world took to Zoom, to Skype, or a myriad of other electronic communications, all because we sought ways to be connected with one another. As you go out into the world, commencing the next part of your lives, you'll find your way. You'll find your role, or more probably in today's world, you'll find your roles, plural. Armed with a little luck and hard effort, you'll achieve many wonderful things. You've demonstrated already you have an incredible capacity to achieve. It's why we're here today. In your time with us at Bond, each of you has developed an impressive array of skills, knowledge, and attributes that you will that will stand you in exceptionally good stead as you embark on your journey. Each of these journeys will, of course, be different. They'll be unique. They'll reflect the opportunities and the challenge faced by you and you alone. But what they have in common is that the contribution you make, the difference that you invoke, will be important not just to you, but to everyone around you. Remember, we are connected. The opinions you form, the values you hold dear, all will affect your behaviour and the decisions and choices that you make, and they will impact on others just as much as they impact on your own life. Some of these impacts and consequences will be immediately obvious. Others will take time to emerge, but they will emerge. So keep this in mind. Remember, we are connected, and what each of us does will affect those around us. Your successes, and there will be many, will be down to you, but they will also reflect on those around you, those who support and love you. Take, for example, the achievement that we mark today. There is no doubt your performance at Bond was down to you, to your hard work, to your dedication, to your abilities, but others will have helped you on your way. All of you will have benefited from the incredible staff we have across the university and in our faculty. Many of you will have benefited significantly from mentoring by supporters in industry, and some of you will have benefited from generous financial support by way of scholarship. Finally, many of you will have the loving support of family and friends, and it's wonderful that so many of these loved ones are here in the audience today, and of course others are at home around the world remotely watching what we're doing. To all supporters of our students, those in the audience and those around the country and beyond unable to be here, thank you for sharing this day, and thank you for the support you provided your loved ones throughout their studies. Now, the point I've made this morning is that we are connected. I have laboured it somewhat. People support us, and where we can, we support others. We impact on others, and others impact on us. Remember this when you make decisions, when you act and when you give back. And wherever your journey takes you, remember you have benefited from the gift of education. Reflect regularly on this, and do look for ways to give back throughout your life. Your journey is important. Your generation's contribution to this planet that we all share is hugely important. The choices you make, the paths you take, they will be crucial. My staff have worked with you during your time with us. We've watched you grow, we've supported you, we've taught you, and of course we've learned from you. To you all, we're absolutely delighted your next chapter is about to begin. We're excited by it. We know what you're capable of, and consequently we can easily imagine what you will achieve. Enjoy the journey, make an impact, stay connected with one another and with your university. As was said earlier by our Chancellor, once a Bondy, always a Bondy. Once again, many, many congratulations. You did wonderfully well. No one fell going across the stage. Enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you and well done. Now, being one of the executive deans of this wonderful university, you get to do many things that give you great pleasure, none more so than what I'm about to do. So at the end of each graduation, I have the pleasure of stating a charge to the students, and your job is to actually, we're now part of it, it's an interactive part of the ceremony. This is where I will say the charge to you, and your response has to be yes. But you've not to say yes, you have to absolutely shout at the top of your voices to yes. Now, I gave a challenge to those who are graduating this morning from the postgraduate courses in our faculty, and they were quite loud. I believe that you will be louder. Prove me right, please. So please stand up, all graduates. Thank you. I charge you as graduates of Bond University, demonstrate at all times the highest moral and ethical standards, to apply your learnings and education to the benefit of society, to pursue the highest standards in all your endeavours with excellence always your aim, and to support forever and enhance the reputation of your university through engagement as proud alumni. Graduates, do you accept that charge? It took you a while to get there, but you were wonderful when you did. Thank you. You may now be seated. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that now concludes the formal part of the ceremony. Shortly, the official party, the valedictorian, academics and graduates will process out of the theatre. I ask that you remain seated while the procession leaves the theatre and only exit once the last graduate has left. You are all, of course, invited to join the graduates and ourselves in Don's Tavern for post-ceremony refreshments. Please bring your ticket along, and I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you all.